you doing lately?
As of lately, I've just been focusing on this whole interview. Finally, just being more self-disciplined in this time of quarantine.
Yeah.
So I mean, you gotta make the most of it and stuff. But I'm doing pretty well. I put out what was it? I put out what 4 interviews so far, and I just got on it like last Thursday. So, and I have about shit what like 3 more to put out, and then this is like my 10th one I did today. Well, not today. So far.
Yeah, that you've recorded.
Yeah, so it's just like I'm going, I'm like practicing as I go along. So eventually it's gonna be perfected, but it's definitely getting better every time I record. So it's definitely a whole lot better.
Yeah.
But snap. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't have an introduction for this podcast. It's very indecisive of me to try to come up with a intro. So I do go by Tony Awdball. This is an odd conversation here with a very special guest. I know. Yeah, I throw people off with that. I definitely don't like to have like a simple.
Hello?
Hello. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you froze for a second, but you came back.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Sometimes it happens. What can I say? All right, so I've known you since diapers. I've known you for pretty much my whole life.
A ridiculously long time.
Yeah, I know. And man, you were there to see me in my Michael Jackson days, to my NSYNC days. Yeah, it's been far too long.
Before any of us knew how to do anything.
Yeah, but shit. Honestly, there's so many different places we could start with this whole interview. But I would like to just say what was your what is it that you do for the people that don't know,
Oh, what I do? Well, I'm the guitarist in Frequency Within. So, we're on Die Laughing Records, and we just play music. We're 3 chicks and a dude. They're all super talented and just fun, and that's what I do. That's my band. And then I also run SoCal Indie Musicians, where I help out bands. Lately, it's been more management. It's something that kind of started more as a blog, just because people were seeing me do stuff with my band way back when, and they all had questions, so I just started blogging more, giving people advice, and then I ultimately started booking shows as well, and just helping out with basically anything that a band would need help with.
Oh, okay. Well, dang. And here we are now. So what got you into making music, and when did you start?
I didn't start. I mean, I've played music for a long time, mostly starting with guitar, but I didn't start performing until I was actually. Well, no, I performed before, but performing with a band until I was in college. Just meeting other musicians and being out there, meeting people and doing stuff, and just kept doing stuff, and here I am.
Yeah. Well, damn. Okay. And what was the birth of Frequency Within?
That started only our bassist, and then Erica, our lead singer, and I were a band previously with another drummer, and we just wanted to sort of focus our music because we all songwrite, and we all play guitar, they play every instrument and sing as well. So we just wanted something more focused and had a different direction for it. And we actually started because our drummer, Jenna, found us on Facebook. She said she found me on Facebook because we had some picture up, and she's like, oh, there's girls in this band. I'm going to hit them up. And so she messages me, and she's like, hey, I think you'd look better with a chick drummer. And that was her first message to me. And I was like, what the heck? Who is this chick? But I checked her out. I started talking to her. And I was like, actually, we are going to be looking for a drummer. Not because our old drummer was bad. He was just moving out of state because he got accepted to a different college. So we just ended up meeting up, writing music. We all had the same goals and she came over to the house and just jammed with us over like not really knowing any songs, just jamming. We all got along perfectly.
Wow, so she just fit right in then, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Dang, so the power of the internet.
We like to laugh and make music, and it's just always a good time.
For sure. And how did the Die Laughing Records come about?
We released our first EP, our first album on our own, Blissful Mess, and we toured what we could, for an unknown little indie band. And our music video that we did for one of our songs, Vindictive, we planned out this crazy music video release show and did all this stuff around it, and had the video filmed and directed by Kay Nagonio, and we just put that out and started sending it to a ton of people. And the owner, Dave, was one of the people that we sent it to, and he just fell in love with it, and he just loves that song, and was just messaging us back like, who are you with? And we're like, no, it's just us, we're just putting our music out. And he liked it, and we ended up signing with them for some for a couple singles and an EP, which is out now.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
because I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm gonna jump back to a different topic, but Blissful Mess, sorry about that, my speech impediment kicks in sometimes at random. But one of my favorite songs is actually 100 Proof. I think it was the second song that was on the track list. And
I love that song. We used to call it Jeanette's song, and then we changed the name to an actual name.
Shit. Well, I mean, yeah, it definitely set me back a little bit when I listened to it. It was like when I first ever listened to the album, because I remember you showed it to me when it first came out, or when you first announced it, that was like on Spotify and stuff. And I checked it out, and I remember like playing it back a couple times just because, like, I don't know. Sorry, I just finished having dinner. I'm still recovering from a food coma, so I'm just everywhere. But yeah, I just had it on repeat for so long, and I honestly like the album a lot, for sure. And then we'll get into Message of the Void in a little bit too. But I did want to ask a little more about the SoCal Indie Musicians. How did like, I know you mentioned about like how you why you created it, but as of lately, like what's the status going on with the whole blog?
So like my blog that's how it started, and it ended up taking sort of a back burner because I started doing more shows and like hosting shows or helping touring bands get shows here, or the opposite, helping bands here, meet people in other states. And a lot of that's like, it's got to get done now. And, it's fast paced and there's so much involved with it that, it's like with the podcast, I'm the only one responsible for it. So I, haven't written and posted as many blog posts as I should have. I'm actually working on one right now. And I'm interviewing different independent labels around California, just starting primarily here because most of the people that follow me are obviously in Southern California. Just interviewing them, asking them questions on behalf of independent musicians, like, advice and what they look for, and, just things that you can be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's all good. Definitely comes out of your heart, for sure.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of time.
It really is. Some people really. I remember when I wanted to get this whole podcast together, people always tell me like, "Dude, like it can't be that hard. You're just talking, And I'm like, "Yeah, that's very true." But it's also like, if you have the right thing to say, you kind of want to like place your words correctly. You don't want to like mislead anybody. And like, although my sole reason why it takes so long was because I was a lazy piece of shit, but. But but in your case, where you're trying to handle your own band and book your own, sessions and touring and all this other stuff, you still have like responsibilities to try to like send out word for those that are really interested in pursuing the same career, and even like getting them shows as on top of that. So I can only imagine like the stress level that you deal with, honestly.
It is. It's really fast paced, and even ended up being, before the stay-at-home orders came out, I was even planning another release show for us, and we were going to live stream it and all this crazy stuff. And yeah, everything, our shows just were canceled. Anything I was planning, anything we were going to play, it's insane. Like right now at my house, everyone here is basically in music, and we're all at home, which is really weird because everyone's always gone. Like someone's always on tour, or they're on tour with someone else, or they're out at a show every night. Like there's usually not everyone here, so it's really weird.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, so how many people in the house all together?
Well, right now, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 of us here right now.
Continue real quick. Sorry about that. I'm just didn't put the do not disturb on. There we are. Yeah, it's so awkward. Sometimes I'll even do like my interviews, and like I have like friends or like relatives like text me, and then like one of them, I was interviewing this one chick like last week, and then a text came in that said whore, and I was like, oh shit, like, yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, sorry about that. So everybody in that household, does it hold any like frequency members inside there as well?
Oh no, we all live separate. For Frequency Within, we have a rehearsal studio. We have a lockout that we can go to. We just haven't been, like, we just went live a couple weeks ago, but we've been practicing, social distancing, so we haven't been in there together. We usually go there to write.
Okay. And so how you and everybody in the household been holding up with the whole quarantine?
I mean, luckily everybody still has work for the most part. I mean, it's weird, it's different. Couple people are working from home, like they have the computer set up here, and they just, instead of going to the office, they're working here. So we're holding up. It's weird times, but everyone's healthy, luckily.
Yeah, I bet. During this whole, like, once the lockdown was announced in LA, I actually moved out. I was living in La Mirada with my cousin's ex-boyfriend, and eventually I asked my cousin out here in Marietta, contacted her, and came out here, and I didn't expect to move in until like maybe 2 weeks after. And well, I was just thinking, why not just take this whole like potential of like pursuing this whole podcast and everything that's going to come with it to full length, and have nothing holding me back. So why not? And
yeah, that's great.
You gotta take advantage of the situation. Hence the space-time interview. So.
Definitely. No, I'm glad that we both have time to do this. Awesome.
I know. I can only imagine what would have been if none of this even happened. But yeah. So I did want to talk about one of my favorite music videos that you guys came up with. It was Coma. It came out last year, and so I want to know a little bit of like how that song even came about, let alone like the whole recording process for like the video shoot.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely one of our more difficult songs, because it's just, we were talking about it the other day. It's so real. Like if you've ever dealt with like loss or just being separated from somebody or apart, like it's just a very emotional song for like the band, whether it's and for people that listen to it. And so we kind of, with that video, we shot that actually in our studio and put up all the black, and just shot it all in a day. And it's just, we wanted to have like the emotion come out from it. I know it's just a really difficult song for the band to perform, because it's emotional. Like in our live interview, I think we did it a couple weeks ago, and the label's gonna be posting it up. But Erica even mentions that in the recording, you can actually hear her crying, and so it's definitely a hard song. Wow.
Yeah, it's you can kind of feel the pain, especially when because I did catch that when you said that. When I first heard the song, I just didn't want to like call it on it, just because I didn't know if that was what I was thinking. Because
Yeah, no, I mean, our thing with all of our songs is that, they're very emotional, and, they all, whether it's just something that's supposed to get you excited, or something that's supposed to elicit some sort of emotion, I mean, that one definitely hits it, and it definitely hits people differently, and it'll hit you hard for whatever reason and however you interpret it. But the sound is there. It's just,
yeah,
it's
like for
almost
me,
unsettling, but you can feel it.
yeah, like for myself, I'm a hip hop guy, like primarily, but I do like all other like types of genres as well. And
Yeah.
so that's why like I'm only coming from that kind of like direction, like at least like more. My insight is more in that direction, but I've always
Yeah.
like been I've been a fan, not only because like I've known you all my life, but like you guys are really talented in what you guys do, So it's not like just oh hey, what do you know? It was just like, wow, you guys really have something here. That's the way I look at it. So, yeah. So Dan, that was really deep. You actually, I don't know, I'm like a little like shaky after hearing that for some reason. But
Yeah.
we'll just move on to the next one, which is Vindictive. I remember seeing the behind the scenes footage of that music video.
Yeah.
A lot of cows.
Yeah, that was it was a fun time. It was crazy, but it was hot. It was like 10 million degrees that day, and everyone was melting. And we had to go into the car and like blast the air conditioning in between a few different takes just to like cool down.
Jeez.
Because it was insane. Always like sweating. Everyone's all sweating.
My gosh, I can only imagine how it is on the road then.
Yeah, and then even in that video, we lit stuff on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I have some more like behind the scenes footage of like just flames. It was dangerous, but we did it anyway.
Wow.
It was only in it for like a second, but yeah, just flaming bats aren't safe.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, like it's funny how like only like it takes about like a whole day at least, sometimes even like weeks, just to make like a 4 minute music video, and
Yeah, I
you
think
do
we spent
so
all
much.
day at that location.
My gosh. So yeah. So Message to the Void. Yeah, I've it's fairly new. It came out last year, and so well that was your latest release. That's under Die Laughing Records.
Yeah.
Okay. And how was the whole recording process for that?
Well, for that, I mean, we have creative control, and we do what we want with the music. So we worked with the producer on this one. Like, we also worked with the producer on Coma, but it was a different producer, and he worked with us just for that single. And then so we worked with a different producer for the Message of the Void EP altogether, and it was just interesting. It's different than some people just write by themselves and they just put things out, and other people just have to have like a whole bunch of people involved. But it was basically one other person. We had a few songs sort of written all the way because we've been performing them live already. Because we'll test out songs and then rework them and just try them live occasionally. So there are a few songs that we were already playing for quite a while that were basically done. He just offered a little bit of insight. And then we worked out a few other ones. And I don't know, he just helped us work them all out. And we went in and recorded. Jeanette recorded the drums in a different studio. And then we went into Santa Ana and recorded everything else at another studio. And yeah, it was just really trying to think. It was such a while ago.
No,
that
take your time.
Because we did spend a lot of time in the studio then. That's why we had to get a 24-hour lockout, because with everyone's schedules, we ended up spending late nights there. So yeah, I mean, recording was great. It was fun. We ran. Well, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but it was good.
So how does it feel like when you all have to be separated when you guys record your like, so whether it's vocals to drums, like how does it feel when you have to be separated when you do your sessions?
We try as much as we all together for recording. I think Jeanette's the only one that I think all the times that we've recorded, she's done her drums by herself with the sound engineer, and then the band showed up later. Or she did it in a completely different studio. So with Blissful Mess, she went in and recorded all her drums, and then we all showed up the next day and did everything else, and she came in and did vocals and some extra percussion. But with this, she just went to a completely different studio, did all the drums there for the sound, basically, and to use all the, I don't even know what she used over there, what equipment, but they were there and did all that. And then we went into a separate studio, and me, Oli, Erica did all of our guitars and vocals, and Jeanette came in there too and also did vocals. Mm-hmm. So we try to do it all together in the same room.
For sure. And then you said that like with those songs as well, you also like performed the songs during your sets, like when you were on tour and everything.
Yeah.
So how was it with tour life?
It's fun. I miss it. We haven't toured in a while because, we just haven't planned anything yet. And then with now, things are crazy. Like, you have to plan things way in advance, like months in advance. And with everything up in the air, it's like most of this year is just shot for shows. But we like it. You've seen our videos. We just like to be funny and have crazy videos about shit. We've had our car break down on us. We've had to miss shows, and we've crashed in people's houses, and I don't know, it's life on the road. It's fun, but we all get along with each other. We make it fun. Mm-hmm. Even if we're trapped in a little vehicle, we try to keep things lively.
Do you have any memorable encounters or performances you guys had all together?
Just while on the road, just touring. I don't know. Oli and I tend to drive a lot at night. We definitely just all have a good time. I think we've been to South by Southwest the last couple years, so this year we decided not to go, and luckily we didn't because it was canceled anyway. Yeah. But being in Austin for South by Southwest is actually pretty awesome. It's super fun out there.
Yeah, I know. I remember seeing so many South by Southwest footages, and I'm like, dude, I want to go next year. And I said that for like 5 years, and I've never gone still. To this day.
It's definitely a trek. It's a very far drive. Through a bunch of desert.
Jeez. So, out of all the places you've been to, like, which one are you more excited to go back to when it's time to hit the road again?
To go back? I think I'd be excited to go back to Colorado again. We've been there a couple of times to Denver, and I don't know, the people there are friendly. I don't know if it's because I have friends that were from out here that moved over there, and it's just, it's comfortable, but the people there are great, the venues, the shows, the bands, it's a fun scene.
Okay. Yeah, I heard sometimes it can be like difficult to breathe out there, depending on what part of Colorado.
The elevation?
Yeah, the elevation and stuff.
The first time we played there, Oli actually got sick from the elevation because we drove up all in one day. Well, it was me, Oli, and our buddy Miguel, who was our roadie basically that week, and it was his birthday, and we decided to drive from Austin, Texas, all the way to Denver, Colorado, and we were working some event at South by during the day, and it got to be late, and instead of going to bed, we just decided to start driving. So we started driving in like the early morning hours, and we're like, oh, one of us will just sleep while the other two are awake, and we drive. So I think we drove for like almost 24 hours straight. We didn't get there until the middle of like we left early in the morning, and we didn't get there until like almost 24 hours later. So it was again the like almost early morning hours, and I don't know if just going that far that quickly got to him, but the next day we played a show, and we had to park far and only had to walk back to the car a couple of times, and then he just had to sit down and just was like he's feeling super sick, and right before like we were playing, like when we got to the venue, just not feeling good. We're like, hey, do you want like a beer or whatever? He's like, no, I'm just gonna sit down and sip water. So it definitely got him that day. But the next time we went back, it was fine. So I think it might have just been the lack of sleep and all the driving and just crazy elevation and weather changes because it was snowing. And we went from being in Austin where it was raining a little bit, but it was relatively warm.
Mm-hmm. Jeez.
Yeah, he definitely felt that there.
So what? Drinking and performing go hand in hand, would you say?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it depends on the situation. We played shows like during the day where it's super hot and you're sweating and you don't want to be drinking in that.
Yeah.
Those kind of situations, like as much as it's safe, but we'll usually have a beer or something.
Yeah, you stick to beer like pretty much only, or do you also like, take shots every now and then?
Well, we'll have whatever, but we don't perform like drunk or anything at all. Like we definitely are there to put on a performance, so we take that really seriously. And sometimes we'll just wait until after we play. But I think we've gotten to that venue super early because when you're on tour, you end up getting if you're either there way early or you're there like right at the last second. There's no in between. So we were there at that one pretty early because we arrived the day before.
Okay. So have you ever had to deal with like any unnecessary stuff like people pretty much like on the road or at any performances you've ever had?
What do you mean, like with the crowd or with the band?
I would say the crowd.
Some people can be eccentric, but I mean, we haven't dealt with anything crazy. I'm trying to think.
I mean, it's perfectly fine. From like, if you had to think about it, then it seems like you guys always have like a smooth sailing. Well, not smooth sailing set, but you don't have to deal with you don't have to encounter that kind of foolery.
Well, I think the band, just as a general rule, we always keep like a buddy rule. We make sure we don't go out by ourselves. We watch out for each other and are really. I mean, we've all grown up in music, going to shows and being at shows. So even just being girls, we're always cautious and always aware of like a situation being weird. So we watch out for that. I mean, we were at a show in another state and only did get kissed on the back of the neck by a guy.
Wow.
So like weird situations do happen. Like, I mean, we did not expect that in like Idaho, but
of all places.
Happen, so, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, we're safe and we watch out for each other.
Yeah, so fans really love you then, huh? Don't you have a name for them called Freaks?
Yeah, everyone's freaks. FREQ.
Yeah, I thought that was very creative. Yeah, I like that. Cause you have like Beyonce having a beehive and like all these different types of like armies pretty much, and it's like I like that, a bunch of freaks all at the shows and stuff.
Yeah, the freaks. I think we still have some patches. We have patches that say "I'm a freak."
Jeez. So I'm guessing the fan interaction is like you guys should, try to reach out when you can.
I'm sorry?
Like when it comes to fan interaction, you guys like try to interact as much as possible?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we always respond, and we're always active on social media. So especially now, like people are messaging, like we'll message back, and we try to talk to people at shows. I mean, that's why we're there. Obviously, when people are trying to talk to you and you're like setting up your stuff, like you're polite, but you're like, oh, I got to do this, and then you talk after. So we'll hang out by the merch table or talk to people in the crowd, but try to talk as much as we can.
Yeah, Erica's a real character. Every time I've been around her, she's always like energetic for some reason. Like she never sits down. So I'm like, oh, okay, like, I like her because I'm like that when I'm not around you. You know, usually when I'm around you guys, I'm always like very calm. But then like, but she lifts that energy for me. I'm like, all right, that's what I would be doing. But she's carry on.
Yeah, no, she's definitely good at that at the shows. It's definitely draining. I think after a couple weeks of doing that, she's just dead. Just like being on the road, you're always like on. So it's like by the end, you're just like, I just want to lay in bed and sleep and not talk to anyone.
Yeah. So, got about 2 more questions before we head out of here. I would like to ask you, what do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, hopefully, doing more tours in other places, like out of the country, just helping bands on a broader scale. I started SoCal Indie Musicians, not knowing really if I'd, really leave the area, because, a lot of people, you grow up and you just live in that area, and, same as you, we've been down here in Southern California for a long time, but just traveling, like, I'd like to see more places and help people more places. Like, I've, had Skype meetings with musicians as far as, like, Florida, potentially in 5 years from now, I could be talking to people in the UK or wherever else. Just doing more music, more full time, and just on a broader scale. But who knows where we'll be 5 years from now? Like, everything's crazy, and everything's gone online all of a sudden, and that's not going to stop. I mean, live shows are just completely going to be different after this year.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, this whole thing is just shaking literally the world, and it's wild. I'm interested to see how things are going to change.
Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes I'll go to the store, people will stare at me all weird because I don't have a mask on or gloves, and it's like, I swear I will lick my finger and touch your forehead. Get away from me. Like, it's so weird. People are just, like, they're just being safe.
I mean, they now made it a requirement in Los Angeles, so like if we go out, we have to have a mask on. Like, you can't not. It's weird.
I know. I'm just hoping that this thing lifts up.
Industrial.
Yeah. And people, I don't know, everyone is just like really like out for them, out to protect their own. It's really it's kind of a cool thing, but also like shows like the people that panic easy as well.
Yeah, definitely anybody that's OCD, like a germaphobe, or just high anxiety is just through the roof.
Yeah, I mean, how'd you take this whole like COVID-19 encounter?
How did who?
Like, how did you like yourself like handle the whole news about the lockdown all the way down to being able to be locked up in your house for the whole time being?
I've actually been lucky in that I can still go to work because we're a small office and there's literally usually 3 people there at a time, so we can maintain social distancing and just be there. But it's definitely weird. There's no traffic on the roads at all. I mean, there is a little bit, but because it's LA and there's still a lot of essential stuff going on, but it's just weird. Yeah. It's weird. I'm definitely more careful. I mean, I always was. Like, I'd wipe my shopping cart anyway when I go to the store, and but now it's just you take it to an extra step, and people around you are different. Like, I've noticed people at the store aren't, I don't know, it's just different.
It is. And the reason why I know it's different, because I went to the store and they like, oh, you can grab a shopping cart. We already wiped it down and sanitized it. And I'm like, okay. I grabbed it and I'm like, wow, I feel so disgusted with all the past shopping carts I've ever had to deal with now. Because it felt so smooth. It felt brand new. And I'm like, wow.
Like, how many shopping carts did I touch that were just nasty?
Exactly. And that's why now I'm like, dude, I've had unprotected sex for so long, and now I'm gonna get sick over a handshake. This is horrible. Yeah.
Seriously, I know nobody's shaking hands anymore. It's like fist bump, or like they're like, stay back off. Like they don't even want to get close.
Yeah, I went to go visit my mom at Riverside, and she wouldn't let me inside the house. Then I was like, "What? Like, just want to say hi." She's like, "No, no, no." I'm like, "But I have groceries." All right, well then leave it on the porch. We'll sanitize it when you leave. So I just felt like I was in prison. You know, put my hand on the window. They put their hand on there.
Yeah,
like, right, cool.
they have to watch you.
Yeah. So I don't know. Honestly, I for the first 2 weeks, I seen it like as a blessing in a sense, because I really felt like people really should take time away from work. But like, if you're still working now, hey, even better. You get to be at home and work from home or anything you can. But like, people really need to get like their mind clear sometimes. Personally.
Yeah.
So that's
definitely just have some time off. Like literally stay home. I mean, I've seen some people freaking out because they don't have work, and then they're still like my entire band. They can't work. Their jobs said no, don't come in. Like they're basically furloughed, or there's nowhere to go. So they have to try to get unemployment or whatever, and that takes time to go through, and they've still got bills to pay. So on the other hand, people are still stressing, but making the most of it. We actually just recorded a music video from each of our houses of one of our older songs, so that should be coming out soon. Ollie's literally editing it. Like right before we did this, I got a message, and from the band chat, and they were just messaging about the status of it. So he's editing it now.
That's actually really tight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well to make the most of it. This is where you can get creative. Like you have to work with what you got.
Yeah, definitely. And we're all working with what we have at home. So you'll be seeing the outcome of that soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I guess my final question to you is, what is your message to, people pursuing this kind of career path, or like just a message in life in general? Do you have any like final words for the people?
Just do stuff. Don't sit on it. Just do it, and you can do it better next time. But if you don't just do something, it's never gonna happen. And I think secondly, meet people and be nice to people. Don't be an ass, because nobody's gonna want to work with you. No one's gonna want to hang out with you. No one's gonna want to support you if you're rude. So just be nice, meet people, and do stuff.
Yeah, very true. I met rappers before that weren't shit, and they try to like, play it off as if like, oh no, I'm here blessing your life, or I'm gonna give you followers. It's like, dude, you need to chill with your 200 followers. You need to sit down. People grow like some kind of ego for some reason. I never really understood why.
They do. I mean, I don't know what it is, but especially musicians, they do.
Yeah. So, actually, I just thought of another question right now. Is there any other bands you would like to go on, like join on tour, or even like have an opportunity to work with in some sort of way?
I mean, I'd like to tour with anybody, or about anybody that wants help. I mean, what I look for in like bands is just to be fun. Like, you don't want to be trapped on the road with somebody that's just really horrible to be around. Like, the reason why with Frequency Within it works so nice is just because, even if things aren't the best, or, the situation isn't, as pretty as you want it to be, like, we're trapped in a car, we don't have, an RV or anything fancy, we just make it work, and you make it fun, and you have fun in whatever situation. So, just someone that has fun.
Yeah, well, there you have it, man. So, just like my intro, I don't have an outro as well. But I just still go by Tony Awdball. This still is an odd conversation here with a very special guest.
Jenna?
Yeah, there you go. See, I like to throw people off, so it happens sometimes.
Well, the last time you did that, it froze.
Oh shit! So this looks retarded now. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.